morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, July 13th, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 p.m. in Bermuda, and in Mexico City it's 9:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL Instant Mail address is CATEX-TV. On this day in history, in 1977, 32 years ago, the last great New York City blackout occurred when lightning struck some power lines in upstate New York, plunging the entire city into darkness for 25 hours. Looting was rampant. Over 400 people were arrested. And at Bellevue Hospital, they were keeping respirator patients alive by pumping and unpumping on plastic bags. It was quite a scene. Today's birthdays, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, is 67 years old today. In other news in the United States, Supreme Court Justice nominee Sonia Sotomayor has begun her confirmation hearings today in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Today is a day relegated for opening statements only, and the real questioning will begin in earnest tomorrow. The President is back in the United States. He arrived very early on Sunday morning from Ghana, Africa, and he's going to, in fact, be in New Jersey this week, later in the week, joining the re-election effort of Governor Corzine. So we'll keep following some of these things and get to our main news. The main news in our industry is in the person of a front-page article in today's Wall Street Journal. It's written by Scott Patterson, and it concerns this man, Warren Buffett's company. Mr. Patterson says that Berkshire Hathaway's reinsurance business has pulled back from one of the more volatile corners of the reinsurance market, catastrophic property damage. Patterson notes that in recent years, Berkshire has made a push into the profitable business, writing reinsurance for catastrophe losses such as hurricane damage. But he notes that just a few years ago, Berkshire pulled in $2.2 billion in premiums on a year that saw no major storms, which was good for Mr. Buffett's bottom line. However, Berkshire has become more cash constrained. Its retreat in the so-called cat market suggests it's become more risk averse amid its recent downgrade, as well as a series of hits to Berkshire's bottom line and ongoing turmoil in the economy in general. Buffett signaled back in May at the annual meeting in Omaha that the company will not do as much natural risk in terms of hurricanes because we don't have as much excess capital as we did before. The crucial mid-year renewal periods for cat insurance policies in June and early July, apparently according to broker sources, demonstrated Berkshire's curtailed appetite. According to James Kent at Willis Re, it's apparent that they reduced their property cat exposure. Mr. Buffett declined to comment. It's a couple of interesting points here. In 2008, Berkshire Hathaway Reinsurance, Ajit Jain's company, pulled in $955 million in premiums in cat and individual risk reinsurance. That was down from $1.6 billion in 2007 and down from $2.2 billion in 2006. That was the year, of course, that Berkshire commanded pretty high premium prices for the reinsurance surge following Katrina and Rita. This year, Berkshire's changing risk posture, the decline is expected to be even more. A factor behind Berkshire's stance could be the game plan to improve its credit rating. In one of the downgrades, Moody's cited the potential volatility of Berkshire's catastrophic exposed business. Another reason, according to the article by Mr. Patterson, Berkshire could be holding back is that prices for this type of reinsurance are lower than they were in 2006 and 2007. While premiums for hurricane coverage are up, prices for other forms of catastrophe coverage, such as earthquake insurance, has been relatively flat. It's also noted that some primary insurance companies have cut back on reinsurance, in turn leading to less demand for the product. The other giant in the field, Munich Re, made some news today. At a meeting today, Munich Re invited 20 large companies, including Siemens and Deutsche Bank and a number of other German industrial companies, to form a consortium called Desert Tech. The eventual aim of the consortium will be to build an array of solar power stations in Africa and Arabia and then connect them to Europe. According to Justin Tawarek, a managing board member with Munich Re, The Desert Tech concept has been developed over the last few years based on an initiative coming out of Rome. The idea is to build wind farms and solar panel farms in the Sahara Desert and then eventually connect them by cable to Europe. Munich Re said that experts project that an area 130 by 130 kilometers, that's about 78 miles by 78 miles square, would be sufficient for Desert Tech to supply all of Europe's energy needs. Jaworek said Desert Tech is clearly banking on the right incentives in the long term, merely climate protection and a low carbon energy sector footprint in order to succeed. Fascinating. Here's a rare bit of good news. I don't know what you were doing on June 19th, but if you were a Chinese miner, that was the beginning of a pretty dark period for you. That was 25 days ago. Today, after 25 days trapped in a flooded mine in southern China, surviving by drinking dirty water and chewing coal, 3 miners were rescued. Here's a picture of one being brought out for medical attention. He's, of course, blindfolded because the striking sunlight after 25 days in gloom and darkness would be too much for his retina. They were dug out this morning as rescue workers digging into a mountainside cleared a path to them and saw their lights, which gave off a dim glow. They had stayed alive by drinking water that had seeped through the earth. One of them said that they were chewing on coal to stave off their appetite. The interview that was given by one of the miners as he was being dragged out to the ambulance says, "I feel okay." The miner's rescue after 604 hours underground was a rare tale of survival in China, where an average of 13 miners are killed every day. There's been another incident at Narita International Airport in Tokyo. This time it was a 777 from Korean Air carrying 387 people. It scraped its tail on landing at Narita this morning. Apparently there were high winds as high as 35 miles per hour. The plane had originated at Incheon International Airport in South Korea. The main runway at Narita was closed for 78 minutes while they checked it for damage. No injuries occurred. The plane moved on its own power to a parking apron. And in the eastern Pacific, Tropical Storm Carlos looks like it's become a hurricane. I have a picture of it here. It's got wind speeds now of up to about 80 miles per hour. It's about 1,000 miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja California. It's moving to the east. Actually, it's moving to the west. It now presents only a damage to mariners. It's unlikely to come back in our direction. Of more interest at the moment is that low off to the right, closer to the North American mainland. That could be expected to be forming into a hurricane later today. We'll keep an eye on that as well. The stock market in the U.S. is up now about 76 points. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
Every day, the world wakes up and goes to work, pursuing the unique opportunities that lead the global economy forward. The complexity and close connectivity of today's global marketplace is a true modern miracle that can create unparalleled success. But it takes confidence, passion, innovation, and understanding.
Enabling opportunity.
Protecting capital.
Engineering innovation. Investing in your future.
Ensuring continuity.
Finding the right balance.
It takes Aon.
The BBC is reporting that 3 cranes have crashed trying to lift a collapsed steel girder at a New Delhi metro rail construction site. This a day after a deadly accident